It's a good day for planting. Hello, happy homesteaders. It is the 15th of March today, and it's time to put some of my plantings out. So this video today is kind of like, what am I planting? Some garden plans and maybe some how-to-dos, but for the most part, I'm just excited. I follow the Farmer's Almanac, and it said today, the 14th, I think through the 16th is going to be good planting days. After that, we're going to have a period of it being a little barren. So I'm going to try to do whatever I can, as much as I can, try to get a start on the season. So I apologize, it's a little windy out here, but I think I can get my point across. This box of chaos is my planting box, and I actually need to find a better way of organizing. Cece's Cece's Texas garden, she has a perfect setup with all of her like sewing boxes or kit that she has. I am envious of her setup, so hopefully one day I'll get as organized. But for now, they're kind of in this box. So I have a box of what I need to sow and what I've already sown over here. Now, in addition to that, I have my trusty planner. So the best way to stay organized is to have a list of, pretty much a garden setup for where you want to plant and when. So that's when it's go time, you can just put stuff in. Now, the funny part is, I thought I didn't have this list on me, and I just knew where I was going to plant my sugar snap peas. And comes to find out, I kind of put one of the trellises in the wrong spot, so I just kind of had to move some stuff around. Luckily, I do a lot of companion planting and to maximize space. So this little list is something that I'm going to be going by today. Also, what I have are my dates for the Farmer's Almanac. And what that's going to show me is when I can plant which seedlings and transplants outside. So you've got your frost date here, and then you have your moon date here. And as you can see, some of this stuff can't be transplanted outside until like March 29th. I love this. You can find this on the Old Farmer's Almanac site. So today, I'm going to be focusing on a lot of my transplants that I already have. And so main thing today, some crops, some root crops, and what I like to get ahead of is spring salad. So here is my salad bed. All right, first of all, you guys, look at the garden. It's a little sad. It's a little barren, as it should be for winter. And it has your cabbages and carrots and, a few lettuce that are now starting to go to seed. So I'm going to have to be pulling those. Luckily, I started some seedlings inside, so that is a great tip. Start your lettuce inside, and then I'm going to bring my lettuce that I started outside and transplant them in the bed today. But then I'm also going to sow seeds in that same bed, and then that way I will have a continuous crop until it's time for harvest. So here are the lettuces that I started inside. I'm just gonna put what has sprouted, and as you can see, some of them did not germinate all that well. This is the lettuce blend from Gurney's. It always comes up, always. And the red sales from Seeds and Such, which is in Augusta, Georgia. That is one of my favorite lettuces. It always germinates and it always does pretty well, even in the hot weather that we have here. So I'm going to go ahead and get the ones that are already doing well, put them in, and then I'm going to scatter some seeds from the ones that need a little bit more love and care. So the seedlings I put in were about 4 weeks along. So now I'm going to sprinkle some seeds in and amongst the seedlings that I've already put on there so that I can have a continuous harvest. And as you can see, I still have some lettuce that is not quite done. I will be probably harvesting them today since they're trying to go to seed. But I do have some that are still slow growing, such as like this speckled butterhead right here. And these took forever to grow, but they are worth it because they're delicious. But the rest of these are, you know, they're going to try to bolt at the end of the season. And then, you know, most of these that are already here have been overwintered. So I'm just going to sprinkle some seeds in here and have a continuous overflow of harvest. So here I'm going to be sowing my German giant radishes. I don't know if I'm going to let them get as big as I did last year because they were absolutely ridiculously big. But I'm going to be multi-sowing these. So just making a little indentation with my finger. And I'm probably going to do anywhere from 4 to 5 seeds per, you know, per couple of inches. And then I'm going to wait later in the season and sow a few more. And then that's way I will have a continuous harvest. Now, since I have all these spring onions, I'm trying to find places to put them in. We use a lot of spring onions, and there's no real place I want to dedicate to planting them because they can just be anywhere in the garden, and they'll be beneficial to keep away pests and that sort of thing. So this is the bed I plan on planting rutabagas in. This is the one I had the cabbage in that was a fail, that Chinese cabbage. And across from here, you can see that I have my flat Dutch head, my late flat Dutch head cabbage. They are still heading, so hopefully by mid to late spring, we'll have some more cabbage. I have a ton of cabbage right now. And yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and pop these in. All right, green onions are in. I'm going to be watering all this stuff in after I finish. And this bed is where I had the eggplant before. Now I'm going to plant the eggplant again, but they are going to be on the opposite side of these onions, which are still growing. In this part right here, I'm going to devote it strictly to parsnips. You guys, parsnips are so good. They can be a bit much to get started, but as long as you keep them warm, I'm going to probably plant these and then throw some cardboard on top just to keep them warm. I do have enough covers for them, but I don't want to cover my onions. So that's another thing to think about when you're planting your garden. If you already have vegetables that need room to grow, and you have seedlings growing next to them, it may not be beneficial to have a row cover because then you start stifling the ones that are growing. So you may only want to cover a certain part. All my row covers are pretty large. They're about 10 to 12 feet long and 5 feet wide. So sometimes you can just partial off a bit, but I just kind of use cardboard or a container or just something to keep the seeds that are growing warm and protected until it's time to put them out. Hello, Cassie. Everyone say hello to Cassie. She just had to come and say hello. So if you can see here, I used a liberal, almost overkill on the parsnip seeds. And that's because, again, they are a little finicky when it comes to germination. And they're going to be thin, but you also, I read that you can grow them in multi-sown. And I kind of do that with my carrots. I thin them out maybe a little, but I don't need gigantic carrots. So parsnips are the same, but they're so delicious that we decided that we want as many parsnips as possible. So I just planted a ton. This soil is very fine and soft, and yeah, I'm gonna cover these up. It's super windy out here, so hopefully this video isn't too bad with the audio. and we'll move on to our next bed. So this bed here is where the sugar snap peas are going. I have these sugar snap peas from Baker Creek, and they're gonna get pretty tall. So hubby constructed me this wonderful trellis made out of bamboo and metal wire. And I still have some cabbage growing in here. If they don't do anything, then I'm just gonna probably snatch them out. They've been slow growing, but who knows, they may pick up. And in this bed that's going to go right next to it is where I'm going to have the cucumber trellis. But I don't need that right now. Cucumbers are such a late veggie that, you know, I no rush on that one. But I'm going to go ahead and get my sugar snap peas in. So over here in my shallot and garlic bed, I'm going to be planting these Crosby's Egyptian beets. I'm the only one in my family who appreciates them. So these are all going to be for me. And so I don't need a lot. However, I'm going to multi-sow this entire pack. And it's because I haven't had the greatest success with beets. You know what? That's not true. I got a bunch over in the side bed. So I don't know if it had something to do with just the time of year. But I'm sowing these as early as possible to get ahead of the season. Last but not least are my Dececio broccoli, and as you can see, the seedlings are looking pretty healthy. They're the ones back here. I have some purple bok choy that I'm still gonna let stay in these trays a little while longer, but they're probably gonna need to go out pretty soon. And that is gonna be it for my sowings. Probably in the next couple of weeks I'll put some other things out, but right now still prepping the beds. This is the time to start laying out more mulch if you haven't, and pulling more weeds if you haven't. I'm pretty weedy over here, and I'm thinking about laying down some black plastic to kind of knock this area out, because I also want to plant vining plants such as red curry squash, and my watermelon that I grew did really well over here. So in the meantime, I am still building these beds up with some bricks. Hopefully my grape will start putting out some shoots pretty soon. I've never grown a grape, so I'm a little bit worried. It still seems alive, so I'll keep you posted on that. But I'm going to have flowers growing in here, so it's going to be a multifunctional. I want it to be a beautiful garden full of veggies, full of flowers, and just flourishing. So I have a wonderful ecosystem where bees and all the beneficial bugs and animals that we want will be able to thrive in here, so that we'll be able to thrive as well. I hope you all are doing well. I'm sorry it's so windy. Hopefully you can hear me and this video sounds all right. Let me know what you're growing and putting into your beds for March. We are fast approaching the time where it's just going to be non-stop all the way until fall plantings. I'm excited, a little bit in dread, because it can get tiring, especially if you have a day job. But for all of you out there who are working outside and working in an office and have families and whatever your responsibilities are, kudos to you. Peace and blessings, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.